Capcom publishes fan content guidelines, okay, including rules against offensive fan art and commercial use. What are we doing? What are we fucking doing?
Can't play with her thighs anymore.
Mm.
The gooners
What do you
are
mean
gonna
I can't
suffer.
fucking? What do you mean I can't go on Twitter and post my fucking Chun-Li fan art where it's just her with fucking titties out? Anyway, Capcom has released official fan content guidelines. I'm going to say that word again. Official fan content. That makes no fucking sense. On November 4th, which apply to all fan artists and creators who want to create content such as illustrations, anime, manga, fiction, or figurines based on its IPs. While the rules aren't particularly strict than the average Japanese game developers, there are some things to keep in mind. For starters, fan content should clearly state that it's based on Capcom's intellectual property. This one seems more like a suggestion than a rule, as the company certainly won't hunt you down or delete your work just because you forgot to mention some small detail. No, that would be Nintendo that does that. Additionally, materials created by Capcom that are used such as gameplay footage and trailers don't fall under these guidelines, but users who are supposed to follow the video guidelines instead.
I feel attacked here.
So do I. This is bullshit, man.
I made some Capcom parody art this week.
Man, I got fucking pictures of Chun-Li's boobs in here and shit. I got fucking pictures of her like scissoring with Cammy and yeah.
I mean, are they gonna take offense to this though? My fucking quartering Mega Man.
Oh yeah. You're fucked. You're fucked.
I'm fucked.
You gotta put the Capcom logo somewhere in there.
I know. I should revise it.
Fan content that is created for profit is where things get a bit more serious. That part's fair enough, I reckon. If you're doing it to make money, fine. But if you're just a fucking dude that's like, if you're just like doing fan art or whatever, fuck off. Like, what is Warner Brothers going to come kick down your door because you're drawing Batman? Well, they're going broke, so maybe they will. Commercial use for content based on Capcom's IP is generally prohibited. Say, for instance, of physical books, magazines, like a Doshin, and I'm going to pretend I don't know what that is, that are sold in small quantities and for low prices by hobbyists. Capcom will determine whether a fan work falls under the scope of hobby or commercial use based on the scale of sales. However, the company hasn't defined any specific criteria for that. So it's probably a try to behave within reason kind of rule. Sales from physical 3D fan works like figurines and statues are also prohibited unless they're sold at officially licensed events.
Hold on.
There's
Scroll back up because they said that they'll determine whether it's based on the scale of sales. So if I have like a fucking profile on Etsy and I've made like a fan art print, but I only sell like 2 shirts a year on that, am I going to get hit by Capcom, or because I'm not selling 40 of those shirts a month, I'm safe?
Yeah, exactly. I think you're just going to be at the bottom of their priority list.
How the enforcement is the issue though, right? Like what determines too many sales for them? Because then that muddies, and then it also muddies the water for what can be what are the bounds for fan art? Because there's so many different interpretations you can make for different characters or whatnot, like crossover stuff. Does that count as a violation? Is that against, right?
Yeah, the devil's in the details for sure.
I mean, there's interesting where the line is drawn, because I would imagine that once you start hitting once you cross the threshold of earning like hundreds of thousands of dollars,
that makes sense.
They would probably have something to say, but then below that they would just be like, oh, whatever.
There's a lot of people in the nerdcore scene, as far as music's concerned, like Mega Ran and Bit Brigade, that do a lot of, and also Brental Floss for a while had, his pixel art that looked like Mega Man character. They're going to be fucking with a lot of communities that just celebrate their games and their legacy and a lot of the properties that they don't support anymore. And they're going to find a lot of backlash. I don't think that they're ready for or expecting.
That's why I'd be interested to know where the line is, in all honesty. Is it just straight interpretations, or are crossovers allowed? Are different versions of art allowed if they don't mirror too much the original stuff?
I have a sorry. Can I add one more thing here? Doing art being the chief, I have a hard time navigating this sort of thing myself. Initially, Lethal, you had brought up the fact that it's like official fan content, whatever. I would push back on that a little bit and say I think they're saying like this. Their guidelines are coming from an official source, not that it's official fan art, right? Because that would not make sense. But like I feel like there's just like this. If you're going to make fan art, here is our official stance on it. And Microsoft has the same thing with their game content usage rules, which is actually probably the most lax out of all of them that I've seen. Which is like you can have a Patreon, you can have a crowdfunding thing. I think you're even allowed to put ads on it. But I still don't put ads on Arby and the Chief because of the whole machinima thing. Because I don't want any copyright bullshit haunting me or coming back to bite me in the ass. Just like, look, I just want to re-upload my stuff after the whole machinima fallout so my content can be seen. It's not even really about the ad revenue for me.
Fair. That's
so
good.
Yeah. I forget where I was going with that, but yeah, that's all I have to say for now.
Sorry, can you hold that thought, Jono, so we can get through more of this? There's also the usual stipulation that all fan art should fall within Capcom's code of conduct. Offensive works, including discriminatory, lewd, or obscene expression, so basically the three best things, are a big no-no, as in content that should otherwise damage the reputation of the company. It goes without saying that copies of official products are also illegal. Now, I don't understand how this type of stuff will damage the reputation of the company. Me drawing, oh, this is Chun-Li with her titties hanging out and we have fucking Cammy spitting in her asshole. Me drawing that is not a reflection of Capcom. It's got nothing to fucking do with them.
You know what it might be? And I'm just throwing an idea out there. So you know how sometimes you just go to like
conventions?
No, not conventions, just like sites where not necessarily porn sites, but sites where like you can download a bunch of media, or like pirating sites, those kind of sites, right? And you get a bunch of ads on the side of them, and they're more often than not, there's some hentai in there, right? I'm wondering, because the community for that kind of stuff with Capcom art, there's such a bleed over, that maybe that's a potential issue for them. Like, more people, there might be a generation that actually is like associates Capcom with this chick covered in cum sort of deal.
What about cosplayers?
Well, I don't think it's cosplayers. I think it's the people that go to conventions and sell prints and sell things like art and statues and 3D prints. A lot, like Capcom has, as a toy collector and a guy that goes to gaming conventions, Capcom is one of the companies that has had a very odd history when it comes to making merchandise and celebrating their franchises. Like, there are not many Resident Evil figures. There are, Jada Toys just got the Mega Man and the Street Fighter license. Previously, SH Figuarts had it and couldn't even complete the World Warriors, and Jada's the first company to ever do it. And back in the day,
you can't find statues for anywhere, literally. I think they had one run recently in the last 5 years.
And there are some knockoff Devil May Cry figures too that were done, and some really high-end ones, but they don't really merchandise their stuff well. So a lot of the art that is sold now, Capcom does sell art books. They famously sold like the Street Fighter bikini books and calendars and all, but they really don't merchandise their own stuff. So they're like, oh, well, we're going to get in this and we're going to stop people from creating their own art or sanction them for it, I guess the best term I can think of. But
the thing I was going to bring up with the cosplayers is like professional ones, they sell photos of themselves and prints and shit like that. So it could be like, hey, again, here's me as Chun-Li and all that, it's a bit more risque. So I don't know, it's a bit of a gray area, I reckon.
That's it. Is Capcom going to be knocking on their door for royalties or something just because they put on a costume that resembles of a character that they created?
Yeah,
that's a murky area. But
just how they expect to enforce this is my big question.
Yeah, good luck.
I think it's a foggy area that I think can come down to the nuances of execution. I remember when I first started Arby and the Chief, like I always thought from the beginning that I would be protected under parody law. I remember I brought this up before, but like they Microsoft Legal initially, when they found out about what I was doing, they were just in a knee-jerk reaction worried about what I was doing. And they were like, is this going to be damaging to our brand in the long run? And then Frank O'Connor said, no, just let him do it because he's making fun of the right thing. And now I've been doing it for so long that I feel at this point, I feel like if anybody were to come back and say, oh, Arby and the Chief is a problem all of a sudden, it would be like, it's just bad PR.
You
You
can
know
hit
what I
him
mean?
with the Dracula flows, going, "You must have amnesia."
Yeah.
Should
Right.
any of the guidelines be broken, Capcom may ask associated person or persons to discontinue use of production or fan content. In cases of malicious use of the IPs, the company may take criminal or civil action against offenders. And I guess that just comes back to what you're saying is how the fuck are you going to enforce that? And
Cease and desists.
it's a bit of a gray area though,
Mm.
because again, like, you know, I go to like a small convention in my city and there happens to be a girl that's cosplaying what you're seeing on screen right there, and it's a bit more risque or whatever, and you know, and she sells photos of herself and poses and all that. Is that considered damaging, considering how much they don't like mods of these types of things as well?
Yeah. And
Again,
that's
that
one of the
plays-
sole reasons they put DRM in their games too.
Yep,
It's hard to know where to draw the line. I mean, like in my last Halloween special, I made a crack about the Halo franchise not being as it once was. Could that possibly be defined as malicious use of the IP? If I were to make a joke
Ooh.
like that, you know what I mean?
Good
Other
point.
thing too
Good
is
I don't know.
Is it really hard for them to just send out mass cease and desists to anybody they feel that is wronged and scare them out of further ongoing, further continuing to sell their stuff under fan content?
But in episode 1 of RB and the Chief, I had made a crack about the pricing of their heroic map pack.
Yep,
Like
way back in the day.
It was like $10 or whatever. I'm just like 3 maps. One of them's the sandbox. What was it called in Halo 3?
Forge.
No,
Foundry.
but
that was a
Foundry. Yes,
Foundry, yeah.
right. They gave you that, and they let you play around with it. I was just like, is it worth $10? I was just like, maybe they'll have a problem with this, but then Bungie seemed pretty accepting of it at the time. So to all of a sudden now have a problem with me making a crack about the way that they're running things, it would be like, well, in episode 1, I fucking made this crack. So